to help prevent the spread of germs like flu. Cover your cough, stay home from work or school if you're sick, and wash your hands often. Third, there are drugs that can treat flu illness. These work best when started early. Learn more at cdc.gov/fightflu.
This message is brought to you by the Armed Forces Vacation Club, a free membership travel hub for active duty military and veterans. The club provides a well-deserved escape during challenging times or post-deployments, or for cherished family moments. This exclusive travel club grants access to discounted 7-night resorts and savings on over 600,000 hotels, rental cars, and more. Discover the world for free at afvclub.com.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the GHSA and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
My life was going downhill fast. Everybody was on my case. Now, I kept hoping that life would change real soon. I knew drinking too much messed up my life. A friend suggested I check out AA. It worked. I found myself in an AA group. Finally, I've got my act together.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 children born today will get diabetes. This sad prediction by the Centers for Disease Control will come true if millions of Americans don't improve their lifestyles, especially by changing what they eat, how much they eat, and how active they are every day. Every 23 seconds, another American gets diabetes. Stop diabetes before it starts. To learn more, contact the American Diabetes Association or download our free diabetes education programs at learningaboutdiabetes.org.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-550-8841. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-550-8841. That's 800-550-8841. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
The only live and local sports morning show. It's the SportsVisions Morning Show with Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer on SportsVisions 92.1.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. Boy, I tell you what, off the air, I got a chance to see my program director in action, man. We had a situation, and he handled it. He handled it and didn't buck, but again, this is the great part about seeing young men grow up in this radio business and handle situations and issues and problems. But, usually folks want to cut their wrist and want to jump off a building. But, hey, the thrifters stood in the pocket.
I'm saying this from experience, DJ.
Yeah.
Especially recently. I'm not going to call out any names because I love them all. But there are certain people that in times of crisis become even more detrimental to the situation. And it's just, yes, you get frustrated. And after the fact, you can talk about it. You can be frustrated. You want to hash it out. You got to throw a few cuss words out there to get it out of your system. That's fine. But in the moment, doing that does not fix the problem. Honestly, it just makes everyone else on edge. And it makes your brain flustered. It just doesn't work like that, but that's the beauty of what we do, man.
It's called being Cool Hand Luke. You got to handle it. I mean,
He's got all the names.
You got to take that last minute shot, man. They throw it to you, and with 2 seconds on the clock, and you're standing, and you're not in position to shoot, but you got to catch and shoot. And you know what? You got to do it without blinking, and that's what happens when you're under fire, under pressure, whether it's on the job or in a game, in competition. I mean, it just happens. It's life. Okay. Yeah. And that's a wonderful thing. It's a great thing, folks. Like I said, I wish we had some cameras when we go off the air so that you could just see how we were able to handle it. Hey, we got a lot of stuff going on today, and of course, some great guests, of course, including Levi Dunn. If you didn't make mention, if you're just joining us, we got the lineup in a half. We got Levi Dunn at 7:00, Sheriff Greg Countryman at 7:30, Carver Tigers coach Eric Allen at 8:00, and of course, Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer and former Major League Baseball player Gary Ingram at 8:30 is spring training. So obviously we want to make sure that we are up on what the Braves and what players are doing this time of year. They're a week and a half in to spring training, and just because it's going to be a big thing here in just a little bit. A few weeks, I guess. Early April or so will be opening day for a lot of clubs, and we want to make sure that you're up and on everything that has to do with spring training and baseball.
Yeah, and we get guys in here that know what they're talking about, and we like going inside the knowledge, breaking it down, giving you insight. And it's one of the things that I love about baseball specifically is listen to like a Steve Smith,
right,
and listen to like a Gary Ingram, because I'm a little bit more foreign on the baseball part of it because I stopped playing when I was a freshman and focused more on basketball. But I love hearing guys that know what they're talking about, and the way they break it down so eloquently. And especially Gary, that's why he's our MLB analyst.
Absolutely. And again, take it from me, and we were talking about this off air as well, is that I believe baseball is probably, even though it might not necessarily be the most popular, but it might be the toughest or technically or technique-wise to play. Hitting a ball that's coming 70, 80, 90 miles an hour and standing in the batter's box, and, the ball has movement. That might be the hardest thing to do in sports is to hit a baseball.
I agree.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I know that when you're going through baseball, whether it's Little League playing in high school ball, it's very tough to get in the batter's box and to try to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball because the situation. That's why you see a lot of batters strike out off change-ups or sliders, because sometimes pitchers have those specialty pitches that come at you, and if you think it's a fastball, it's a mind game because you're in the batter's box and you're trying to second guess yourself. Okay, he's going to throw a fastball, but it's going to be in the upper corner of the strike zone. I got to protect. And like when we're calling these baseball games for Georgia Alabama Sports Live, you see a lot of batters that get that plate discipline.
Yeah, that mental game.
Pitches. It's a mental game, exactly.
I got to ask him a question too, DJ, because I saw it a lot this past weekend in the high school level. That cat-mouse game between hitter and pitcher.
Yeah.
When the hitter calls that time, right as the pitcher's, that frustrates the crap out of, and they do that only get in their head because it's a mental game to fluster them. I'm always interested in when do you know is the right time to get a timeout called, and if you can get away with the umpire, and how frustrating you think that makes a pitcher.
Timing is everything. But guys, what I love about baseball, especially with young kids, is that, baseball is a little different than the other sports. I mean, when you talk about baseball, just take a simple 10 at bats. I mean, you could go up and fail 7 times and still be pretty good because, that's a 300 average. And in my book, as far as everything I know about baseball, batting 300 is not a bad thing.
No, that's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. You're getting in the Hall of Fame if you failed 7 out of 10 times. Think about that. That's the only sport that can happen.
You go to the free throw line in basketball and you miss 3 or 7 out of 10 free throws, you're garbage. If you miss 7 out of 10 passes that come your way in football, you're garbage.
Yeah.
If you don't break a tackle, and 10, it's crazy, man. I mean, you see what I'm saying? I mean, that part of it is really, really great for young people because, again, you get so many opportunities and so many chances. That's why also it's the hardest, I think, as we stated, is to hit a baseball again, because this is so difficult. And again, failing in baseball is you have to be really, really bad in order to be to be bad in baseball.
Yeah, some coaches don't even look at batting average anymore with the sabermetrics and the on-base percentage. Well, it's about sabermetrics, and basically
now you got to break that down.
Yeah, okay,
that,
so
that went over my head.
Right,
Sabermetrics. You talk to the SportsVisions Nation out there.
Basically, on-base percentage, and then there's the OBS, which is basically your slugging, your total slugging percentage included with your on-base percentage. Like we're calling a baseball game, and the batter actually gets actually hits the ball to the shortstop. It's a judgment call. I'm saying it's a hit. The scorekeeper up on the scoreboard says it's an error.
Yeah.
He got on base. That's all that matters. I know that he's 0 for 1,
right?
But he was able to get on base and walks. I mean, when you think about just being patient at the plate,
right,
up in that pitch count and getting the batter to draw a walk. I mean, I think that on base percentage really speaks volumes above batting average. I think that we are like old school. I'm a romanticizer when it comes to the old school baseball numbers. When you talk about batting average,
right,
home runs, and RBIs,
right,
those are the big 3 stats that you look at. But I think that now that we go into, you see these teams like with the Moneyball A's in the early 2000s, the Red Sox winning the World Series in 2004, pretty much off sabermetrics. Theo Epstein, probably one of the greatest general managers in the history of the game, used sabermetrics more than any other general manager.
Man, you lost me. You sound like a physics teacher. I just stopped now. Give me an F.
I'm a baseball nerd. I love. What can I say, DJ?
But check this out.
Baseball.
Well, let me simplify for the folks that are listening out there. If you like me, and again, I'm just a little humble servant here. I mean, I don't profess to know all things in the universe, as my lovely wife likes to say. But let me just put it to you this way: would you rather stand in the batter's box and a pitcher's throwing 80, 85 miles an hour fastballs right down the pike? Some of them might be down the pike or not. Or would you rather be out one-on-one with Saquon Barkley in the flats trying to tackle him? Or would you like to be covering up, just say Luka or LeBron or Michael Jordan? Would you like to cover them one-on-one? Which is the most fierce? I mean, Thrift, that's a situation, a basketball situation and a baseball situation and a football situation. Now, again, which would be, realistically, what would be most the scariest for you?
Scariest, I don't know if I would want to get ran over by Saquon. That would feel like it would hurt. I would definitely love to try to guard LeBron, but I think the hardest that would be is hitting a baseball coming at me 100 miles an hour. I don't know. It
doesn't have to be 100 miles an hour. It could be 80. It could be 75. Just the fact that that
it's tough.
Yeah, and the guy's throwing that ball with movement.
Yeah.
How about you?
Exactly.
Well, I got another one. How about a hockey puck coming at you 100 miles an hour?
All right, man. First of all, I'm not going to even get on the ice because I can with the skates on.
Yeah, I'm out on that.
Can't, look, if I could walk out flat-footed with tennis shoes on, I would. That's dangerous. But that's crazy. And I imagine everybody in every sport. From the tennis to the to the golf. Everybody has some kind of a challenge that would probably put you in a fearful mood, regardless. But the great thing about it is we get to talk about it, folks. And again, we want to engage and want you to engage, want you to jump on board. Maybe it's something that you've already done. But more importantly, we are excited that coming up in just a little bit, Levi Dunn, man. And I want to talk a little bit about this gentleman because a good friend of ours, David Smith-Spiller, is his PR director. And again, he does a tremendous job. And David is he's a doggone hell of a man in his own right. He's a hell of a coach.
He is
a 100 support. If you want to do something, if you want to get somebody to get behind you, this is a guy you want on your team because he can get it done. If you're not going to get it done, he's going to definitely. It's not going to be because of effort, because he is going. Once he believes in it, he goes 100%. And I guarantee you, he had a lot to do with Levi Dunn getting him some opportunities, and especially with Heritage, because I know when Dale McGee took the job at Georgia State, the first person I got a call from was, of course, David Spitzmiller, wanting me to try to get Coach Dunn's resume into the hands of Coach McGee, as probably 100,000 other people were trying to get that new Dale, or probably went to elementary school with him or coached with him over the years. But What
he's
I'm saying,
he's looking out.
He is looking out.
Yeah.
If he's for you, boy. And again, he's the kind of guy, like I said, you would want on your team.
Exactly right. This guy's mentored a lot of people. He also mentored Will Weldon, who is now at Hardaway and leading that job. So he's proud of his young bucks. And you're right about that. David's always been he's a big advocate of Robert Moore and CSU. When you're on his team, he'll go to bat for you. And he's one of the best guys around that I know here in this area. And looking forward to having Levi on here in a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, have you had the pleasure of meeting David Spitzmiller?
I have. I know that when Thrift started Georgia Alabama Sports Live almost 2 years ago, I know that David Spitzmiller was our biggest advocate trying to get that to the ground up. I saw him at the Columbus State golf tournament at Bull Creek. And I think that, he's just a great ambassador, and he truly cares about sports. And anytime he has anybody that, he is just an advocate for, he's going to push them. And I really appreciate everything he's done in this community.
Hey, Coach Spitzmiller, if you're listening out there, what the hell are you doing? We're still here at SportsVisions. We're still your friends, buddy.
Come on now. Help us out now. Throw us a bone. We love you, David.
Absolutely, guys, I tell you. But in addition to Levi Dunn coming up at 7 o'clock on the 7 o'clock hour, Sheriff Greg Countryman, ladies and gentlemen. So you got time. He'll be on with us at 7:30. So you guys can spread the good news. Tell a friend. I mean, somebody, hey, grab the kids. Pull them in close, because we're going to talk about some things that you probably going to be interested in hearing. And of course, at 8 o'clock, Georgia Washington Carver Tigers coach Eric Pembroke Allen, he'll be with us to talk about the big game that they have tonight against Spencer. They're playing Spencer for the 4th time. And guys, you know how hard it is to be, man, even with Carver's talent, just the odds are just not really, if you're a betting man, you don't normally go against a team that that has faced a team 4 times and beaten the team 4 times. However, that shows you the total dominance that this Carver Tigers team has had and how great they are with the depth. I mean, they go, 2-3 deep on the bench.
Yeah, and if Carver plays their A game, they should have no problem against Spencer. But seeing that they kind of let Spencer back into that region championship just a little bit, and I think that Spencer is going to throw the kitchen sink at them. They're going to give it their all, and they're going to try to come out and try to match Carver. I don't know if it's going to work, because Carver has a lot of depth. I mean, you talk about they run players off the bench that could be starting for other teams. I mean, they got that freshman TJ Woodson. I mean, he's pretty much the X factor. He is ready to take over a game. He's got that much talent. But right now, this is Tony Montgomery's team. He is gonna like lead the way, and Tobias Tolbert, Tristan Givens down low, and then Carver's also got great guard play. But as far as Spencer, Kerry Griffin is a good shooter. He can get hot. And then you got DeMarcus Horn and Josh Selden down low as well. So Spencer's going to try to give it their best shot. But I think we're going to be in for a very exciting game.
You made mention of Tony Montgomery, but Tony Montgomery and Coach Eric Allen both were together at Tony's freshman year. He was a point guard for the Spencer Green Waves on that state championship team. But just right this year, Tony Montgomery could, in a lot of places, could be averaging 30-plus points a game. But you know what? He plays a very mature, a very unselfish game. He averages about 20 points a game and 6 assists and 3 steals. Now, again, that's that's still good in my book. But what really stands out, those 3 steals from a standpoint. I mean, he consistently, and he understands angles. He understands the game. His basketball acumen, you can see it when you watch him play. A Thrift, you sit back, you watch him, and again, the way he's able to utilize and making sure that everybody's involved and whoever is, on the court with him, they need to be ready to receive the ball, because he's not going to shoot everything.
No, and he pick and chooses his spots on when he wants to take over, when he wants to be aggressive, when he wants to facilitate, and he has complete control of his game and how the flow of the game goes. And this is why Carver is 26-2. And on the verge of making it back to the Final Four, because of someone like Tony and his leadership. And he's another guy. The only thing he wants to add on his resume is another state championship as the leader and one of the best players on the team.
Also, I want to thank Quintavious Allen. He was on yesterday with us, and of course, we had an opportunity to go through the play-by-play, or if you will, or the preview the game. That's a better word for it, of today's game. And again, today we'll have Coach Allen. But these are 2 guys that know each other very, very well. And you know what? it's going to be, I'm curious. I want to be in the gym just from a standpoint of seeing how these two minds that know each other so well. Now, I know that the talent is a little shaded, or at least leaning a little bit toward Carver's favor, but the fact of the matter is, this is where, again, the minds of these young coaches, you get to see the strategy and how it plays out. And, again, who's going to answer the bell? This is a big game tonight.
Huge.
Again, the thing about it is that, we just, you have to understand that, everybody should be on, but it might be, you don't never know what's going on. So that's why they play the game. They tell me.
Yeah, that Spencer team that won the state championship in 2022, they were both coaches on that staff. One thing I remember about that team was they were dominant, is because they were deep. They had players like Tyson McDaniel. They had Joe Dozier, Veron Moody, Gary Gaithert. Obviously, you mentioned Tony Montgomery was a freshman on that team. And they were playing a lot of talent as far as they played Westover in the final. I remember seeing that game. They were a 4A school. And then when Spencer went down to 2A the following year, they go to the Elite Eight. Yeah, they still had a lot of talent. Tyson McDaniel was still on that team. And Coach Allen, Quantavious Allen for Spencer, knows how to win. I mean, he's had Spencer in the Elite Eight, winning a championship. Last year, only making it to the second round. But they are very good. And they're ranked number 8 for a reason. And they were able to get a big win over Crisp County, which was the 9 seed. And so they know how to win. And I think that they're at an advantage because they've seen Carver 3 times already. So that's why I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I would not be shocked if Spencer pulled off the upset. And yes, it would be an upset because Carver is the overall number 1 seed in 2A and Spencer is the 8th seed. And it's just the way the bracket matches up. Back when they had the top 4 teams make it, Spencer would be on the opposite side of the bracket. Now in 3A and below, because they have the power rankings, you'll get region matchups in the second round and in the Elite Eight. And so we have these matchups, and then we just got the perfect matchup. We got Carver Spencer for the 4th time.
And, of course, the tip-off tonight. Boy, I tell you, Thrift, I don't know what's going on, but this voice and the weather is kind of cold, hot, but you know what? We play right through it. But we're looking forward to tip-off tonight. Is at this evening is at 6:30 at Carver's Gymnasium. And, of course, last night, the Carver's girls didn't fare as well. They were on the road at Morgan County. They lost 58-33. So Coach Hunley and his Lady Tigers, they gave a gallant effort. And, of course, extending 2 playoff games, and actually the 3rd playoff game last night. But unfortunately, they'll be home, and they'll be able to cheer on the Tigers boys tonight with regards to, again, them being knocked out.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to see if the Carver boys can make it. Carver Lady Tigers, great season. They came up short against Morgan. So now it's Hardaway girls, and then the winner of Carver Spencer left for Muscogee County schools. And then we got Pacelli Lady Vikings, and, of course, Central Red Devils and Lady Red Devils still playing on Thursday. So we are cheering Chattahoochee Valley versus everyone. That's the saying, DJ.
And if you're out there right now watching me or watching us on screen here on the Facebook, you're saying, why is DJ dressed up? Well, you know what? It's a special day. We're going to honor one of the pioneers of sports broadcasting here in the Chattahoochee Valley. It's Black History Month, and, of course, it's synonymous with Cliff Rutledge. Cliff Rutledge, a long-time sportscaster in the area, one of my heroes. Of course, called my games when I was in high school. They're burying him. We're burying him today, or his family is burying him today at Nichols Chapel at 11 o'clock. And, I wouldn't miss this for the world. Cliff Rutledge means so much to me and so much to others. And before the show's over, I'll have an opportunity to share with you just some of the games and some of the monumental occasions that he was able to broadcast on behalf of this community. Started broadcasting in the area back in 1950.
Wow.
In the 50s, man. So that was a long, long time ago. And again, called my games in the late 70s, and just to have fond memories of Cliff Rutledge. He passed away last Sunday. And again, they're going to have his funeral today and at 11 o'clock this morning and over at Nichols Chapel in Phoenix City. So I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
Bring it back. Lead up, got me thinking back.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Finley firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases. It's time to maximize your savings with a Ford Truck Month sales event at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. Whether you're conquering tough jobs every day of the week or heading off-road on your next great adventure, score great offers now on Built Tough trucks. Like an all-new 2024 Ford F-150 with available 3.9% APR financing for 60 months for well-qualified buyers, plus $3,350 in total incentives with available best-in-class 13,500 pounds maximum towing, Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving, and seating for up to 6. Tough this smart can only be called an F-150. Get ready to unlock the power of the Ford F-150, America's best-selling truck for more than 4 decades. Take advantage of this offer and more during Ford Truck Month at Rivertown Ford, in person or online at rivertownford.com. And remember, you'll never pay retail at Rivertown Ford. Offer expires March 3rd, 2025. See dealer for complete details.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-550-8841. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-550-8841. That's 800-550-8841. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. You're waking up with a Sports Visions Morning Show on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to our main man, Richard Holdridge, who is off to doing his daddy duties. He's got to take the kids to school.
Love you, Rich.
Absolutely.
Father first, always.
Absolutely. Hey, up next, as promised, of course, this guy has football in his blood. And I mean, he really does, folks. You know, you heard about a guy by the name of, Dunn. You heard that Dunn name, Dunn around the SEC. Dunn. Yeah. That's him. That's his grandson. That's right. Levi Dunn, welcome to the Sports Visions Morning Show. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing well, guys. I appreciate y'all having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Glad to have you here, man. I tell you, got a lot of questions for you. And again, I want to hear some of the great stories. Obviously, in addition to about your granddad, man, because when you talk about the legend himself, and actually your dad, not your granddad, I'm dating myself, but your dad, again, a chip off the old block, would you say?
I think you might be hitting the nail on the head with that one.
You know what a lot of people didn't realize, especially me, is that not only that you have the football in your DNA, but you were also a nice quarterback at Northside not too long ago.
Yeah, I got lucky. I actually started high school ball out in Texas. So I was at Abilene Cooper, so I got to play at all the Friday Night Light stadiums. And then we ended up moving back over here to Columbus because we have a lot of family that's here.
Yeah.
And ended up finishing up at Northside under Coach Ingram and getting a lot of good experience there. And, had a great time and got to compete real well. And we had a good team and learned a lot from him and owe a lot to him.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations on this newest opportunity at Heritage. And again, I tell you what, we have a mutual friend who is just, he's a guy that if he's on your team, boy, I tell you, he goes all out. David Spitzmiller, I know he's listening right now. We love you, man. And I tell you what, Coach Dunn, he loves you too, man.
Oh, we all have those mentors in life that are always there in those crucial moments when you need them with advice, criticisms, things like that. And he's someone that, I can always count on, whether it be good or bad, to kind of point me in the right direction and kind of help me along on my path.
Levi, again, appreciate you coming on, man. Congratulations on getting the job at Heritage. But for all our new audience, a lot of people know who you are. A lot of people know who your dad is and Jolie Dunn. But let's talk about from your playing days to where you're at now, including you didn't just stop playing and become a head football coach. There were stops in between. So kind of give us your story, if you will, leading up to this opportunity at Heritage.
And I think there are a lot of different stops along that path. So we'll start. I started out with Coach Osborne. I actually finished up playing college ball at LaGrange College under Matt Mumme right before he took the OC job out at Nevada. And then ended up moving back home to help with Dad because he started to get sick. Then got him coaching with Coach Osborne, just to kind of get a feel for it and see if it was what I wanted to do with life. So I was with him for a year. Then I spent 2 years with Coach Nurnberg over at Northside when he was there. Great offensive mind, great dude. Kind of ran into a tough situation, with the regions and stuff like that and the magnet multiplier and things like that, I think. But learned a lot from him football-wise, structure-wise, organizational-wise. After that, I got lucky enough. Coach Osborne called me again and said, hey, look, I've got some athletes coming up. I know you've been learning some spread stuff. I'd love to have you come back over here and kind of teach me some of it, see if you can't install it and stuff and work with them. And, at first it started out as a 50-50. We were going to be wing tee and spread, and then we got about 3 weeks in, and it ended up being full spread, and it was all mine. It was my baby, and that was the year we actually won the state title.
Awesome.
I was with him for a couple years. The last year we were together, we had Jaden Mason, who ran for over 2,000 yards in 7 games before he got injured, And then after that, I kind of had that itch, as most coaches do, to see about the college world and, growing up under Dad and seeing everything that he accomplished. I kind of felt like I had to do justice to myself and see if that's what I wanted as well. I was blessed with an opportunity to go out to UTEP and be a GA for a year under Coach Pivito, who had stops at Ole Miss, A&M, and LSU and stuff, and knew my dad from way back at Arkansas. So learned a lot from him. We ended up getting let go. It was a contract year for Coach Dimmel. You know how those go, and, injuries happen and stuff like that. So they didn't retain anybody. Actually interviewed for this job last year when it was open with Coach Copeland. Didn't get it last year. Was one of the 2 finalists. And then actually got the opportunity to go GA at Texas State with Coach Pivito again, with Coach Kenny and all those guys. Awesome dudes out there. But, I got to the summer, and as we all know, and we talk about all the time, college is really turning into its own beast in its own way with NIL and the transfer portal and stuff like that. And I think, to me, the thing that I wanted out of college football was, the consistency of it, the football being the main aspect of it. And, college ball isn't really that anymore, in my opinion. And, we can sit on the outside and look at it and make our opinions, but when you're on the inside of it, it's even worse. So for me, that, I hit a turning point. I went through spring. I went through all the OVs, went through part of the summer, and, decided that it wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I got with Coach Osborne. I was with him as his OC at Southern Academy last fall. We had a young group. Didn't have the best season, but statistically we put up good numbers. And so, and it was one of those things where I went in there and I was like, Coach, look, my aspirations are to be a high school head coach and see what I can accomplish, on my own and put my name on something. And so I went in with that, and I was very open with him. He understood. So the goal for me was always to be a high school head coach once I made my decision that college wasn't where I wanted to be.
Coach Levi Dunn is our guest on the SportsVisions Morning Show. He is the new head coach at Heritage School. And, Coach, I tell you what, I'm privileged and proud, me and this guy here. We will be a part of your trivia life for the rest of your life. So we're rooting for you more than you will ever know, because, there were a couple of SportsVision broadcasters in the booth calling the game, your state championship year, when you won with Carver Christian. And again, DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer were on the call. So we will be a part of that, because I know winning that state championship was near and dear to your heart.
Oh, without a doubt. Those opportunities are once in a lifetime for a lot of people. I'm hoping that I can kind of get this thing rolling up here and get us to where we can compete for one here as well.
And that Spitzmiller guy that we were talking about, he was a very, very integral part of us being a part of that broadcast. So you must know that as well.
I do. He's got a hand in just about everything. You got to appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. So getting the staff together, and I know different places, different schools, different ways, they do different things. Have you been able to put a staff together?
I was lucky enough to come in, and we had 3 or 4 guys that were still on staff from last season that I've gotten to talk to, most of them being community guys, obviously with it being a small school. We've got 1 or 2 that we're working on getting into the building that are in the final steps of the process. And it's funny because we're talking about staff and stuff, and one of the guys that was top of my list to try and get over here was Coach Will Wilden, who's over at Hardaway now, that I know that got interviewed by Georgia Alabama Sports Live last week. He was at the top of my list to get, and when I called him, I was like, hey, man, what are you getting into? And he was like, I actually just interviewed for the head job. And he called me back the next couple of days, and I was like, all right, give me good news. And he was like, well, I got good news. He was like, I got the job. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm excited for you, brother, but dang, I was hoping I could get you with me.
That's awesome, man. But yeah, Coach, and now that you've kind of, again, you really haven't gotten settled. It's been 3 weeks, but about Heritage. Obviously, they've had some up and down years as of recently. They want to get back to winning. So what are some of the things you want to establish here early on, establishing that culture, getting back to Heritage in a respectable factor of being competitive and stuff heading in next year?
Well, and as cliche as it may sound, but making the game fun for the kids again. I've had individual meetings over the past week and a half with all the guys that are still here at the school and aren't graduating and stuff like that, and sat down and kind of got their feedback on the past couple of years. And to me, that's one of the big things that stood out was, they just weren't having fun with it as much. And as we know, with kids, if you can get them to have fun and get them out there and let them compete and play fast, that's when you really start to see success. To build a program around doing things the right way and teaching them, the fundamentals of the game and the little things that matter within the game. I think all those things are things that kind of run parallel with a program that's going to be successful in the big picture. It might not be something that turns around in 1 year. It's going to be something that might take a couple years, but there's winning in the walls here. They win in just about everything, and they're trying to get football to the same spot. For instance, our basketball team is playing in the state semifinals tomorrow, actually, because tomorrow will be Thursday, and then hopefully, knock on wood, they win that one. They play on Saturday at CSU for the state title. And so, and we won in volleyball this year. We're pretty dang good in soccer this year. I got to watch them play the other night. It's a winning place. It's just a matter of getting football on the same page and getting that culture to where it needs to be for the program as well.
Coach, for the SportsVisions Nation, give us, some proximity to Columbus as where's Heritage?
Okay, so Heritage is in Noonan. It's from I was off of Double Churches right there on the east side of Columbus. It's right at an hour. It's right up the road. You hop on the interstate and you ride it all the way until exit 47, and then you hop off, and it's about a 3-minute drive from that exit.
Good deal. Good deal. So we'll definitely be keeping up with you. But, in all actuality, when we talk about, your dad, Jolie Dunn, the legendary coach, I know that somewhere, somehow that it's got to be in the cards for you to try to get to the highest level possible. But, this is your start. This is your first head coaching job, correct?
Correct.
So from here, this is, sometimes you tell people you be careful what you ask for. Now you've gotten this opportunity. You know what you want. You got a good idea. You want to be a head coach. You want to be a head coach at the highest level. I'm assuming, but the biggest thing with you in trying to get off to a positive start with your first head coaching job, what's going to be most important that you get across to your coaches, your players, and your supporters?
I think the big thing to me is, building those relationships and helping them understand what it takes to win. And that goes with the conversation of being uncomfortable at times. And, for parents and things like that, we had a parent meeting last Wednesday, and I was pretty straightforward with them. And I was like, look, there's going to be moments in this process where your kids are going to be very uncomfortable, and they're going to come home and they're going to question things. And I just need y'all to trust the process and trust what I'm bringing. I'm an open book. The communication aspect of everything is huge. To make sure we're all on the same page with what our goals are with this program. Ultimately, winning games is awesome, but I think that's a byproduct of doing things the right way. And whether that be the weight room, whether that be how you carry yourself in the classroom, things like that, helping these kids understand that, you don't just win on the field. You win in every aspect of what you do on a daily basis. And that's something that, kids, we take for granted and assume that they understand. But unless you tell them straight up and you're real with them and you're honest with them, a lot of times they'll overlook it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Levi. And by the way, Johnny Estrada, who was a former Brave, he's the baseball coach. So you can learn from him. Job Jerome, who I've called many Heritage basketball games, and they're trying to make it to the state final for the third straight year. You can learn a lot from him, but you really learned a lot from, we talk about your dad, but your mom.
Yep.
Your mom, who was an incredible person, who's over at Calvary, who's coached, it seemed like every sport that they can offer, and it's just a brilliant mind. You got your uncles, who was a baseball coach, one longtime coach at CSU, and Jay Sparks and AD. When you got that in your family, how was a family dinner like? Now that you got your head job, how much advice are these guys giving you? How is it like living in a family that is just all about sports, that's given so much to so many people?
It's a blessing and a curse all at the same time. We actually had a family dinner the other weekend, and we got everybody together and we sat down and we talked. And at the forefront of the conversation was my new job for everybody. And there's 1,000 questions, but it's an unlimited pool of knowledge because all those guys have all had a head coaching experience, and they all do it differently. They're all different personalities. They all have different approaches to certain situations and things like that. So to be able to pull from all of them and kind of figure out where my happy medium is within it, and some of them might be more applicable to other situations and some might be better in other situations. But just to have those people that I can lean on personally, and that are always going to be honest and real with me, is definitely already been beneficial with how I've handled some situations. And I can't imagine that I'm going to ever stop asking them for advice when it comes to those kind of scenarios.
We are with the coach, Levi Dunn. Of course, coach is the new head coach of Heritage School up in, you say up in Noonan, right?
Yes, sir.
And again, when you talk about rivals out of the gate, I know obviously everybody's a rival in your year one, but when you talk about, that first game of the year, and again, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about, spring football and preparation for fall practice. I mean, you got that all planned out, I'm sure.
Correct. It's spring ball at small schools is hard. Working and find time with guys that are playing soccer, the guys that are playing baseball, guys that are running track. You really kind of get the slim pickings. But at the same time, there's a lot of valuable time that you can get individual work in. You can start working through scheme specific stuff. I know I've got a couple quarterbacks that I'm going to be working with throughout the offseason, just starting to work fundamentals and footwork and things like that and start getting them on a whiteboard. But those days that we have allocated for spring ball will be used. We'll have every guy out there that we can get out there. To say that we're going to have the full team out there, probably not, because hopefully we're still playing in other sports. And I'm a big advocate for multi-sport athletes. So I'm at the soccer games, I'm at the baseball games cheering those guys on. I want them to be as successful as possible. Yeah, those reps would be awesome to get, but at the same time, they only get to be high schoolers once. So for them to go out there and get to work is awesome for me.
Coach Dunn, we do something a little different here on Sports Visions. We take people behind the scenes, behind the ropes, backstage, if you will, kind of other than the X's and O's. We talk about things that and responsibilities that coaches and players have. And we had Joey Browning on, who's a good friend of ours, and he obviously you might know Joey, but he's a distributor of athletic equipment, uniforms, and trophies. Right. But we got a chance to talk a little bit about some of the other things off the field that coaches, especially head coaches, have to be concerned with, in addition over and beyond the X's and O's and the kids. And that's, making sure you got the adequate equipment, making sure you got uniforms in place. Now, as a new head coach, how much of that will you get to handle at the new school that you're at?
I got to jump straight into it. Coach Copeland has done an awesome job kind of guiding me as to what, like a checklist as to what I need to get done to make sure that I don't forget anything. Because as you mentioned, it's my first head gig. So, I'm not afraid to ask for help and guidance and stuff like that. So I got to sit down and talk with him. We talk just about every day. I'm pretty hands-on. I've actually gone through and inventoried all of our jerseys and all of our equipment. We already sent our helmets off for reconditioning to get repainted and checked on and stuff like that. I've already inventoried all our jerseys, all our shoulder pads. We actually ordered a new set of home uniforms for next year as well. So, the next thing on my list is to make sure we got all the footballs we need and little things like that, like knee pads and all the tedious stuff that everybody kind of forgets about that you need on a daily basis. But I'm in the middle of it. So.
Good deal. Good deal. Now, listen, last thing I want to do, I want you to speak to those folks. You said you're only an hour away. I know you had a lot of people that followed you and supported you here in this area. But if they just happen to want to come up and check you out, I want you to speak to those folks right now that's been with you for a long time.
For all those people, I just want to say thank you. There's a lot of steps in the journey, and it's all a part of the process to get to where I am now. I can't thank them enough, and kind of one of those debts that you can't ever repay. And if they ever want to come to a game, all they got to do is shoot me a message. They all have my number. I would love to have them here and on the front lines of it. I get them on the sideline. We can hang out, beforehand. I would love to have some of them come speak to the team. You get guys like Marty Durden and stuff like that involved in the conversation. Pastor Frank Ballin over at Calvary, I've talked to him about coming to talk to the team once or twice before the game. But no, to stay, build those relationships, to have them involved. Just because I'm 45 minutes to an hour away, I'm not a stranger. I'm still going to be in Columbus. To sit down and have them involved with my program would be something that's priceless to me, as they've helped me along the way.
Well, Coach Dunn, we're certainly proud of you, man. Congratulations. And we will be following you here on the Sports Visions Morning Show.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate everything y'all do, and y'all do an awesome job.
Thank you so much. You take care now.
Y'all take care as well.
All right. Coach Levi Dunn, I tell you, man, he's, I really, really meant it when I said that he will be a part of his trivia future. Because again, calling that game, a lot of people don't realize it, but you remember it. Was it 2020?
2020. Me, you, and Dale Williams were all on the call there for back in, and it's on this station too at 92.1.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break. Got Coach coming up in just a little bit. Sheriff Greg Countryman. Will be with us. Looking forward to that. You're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Vision 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. 11 men are under arrest after a law enforcement sting in Opelika targeted online child sex predators. Investigators say the suspects thought they were meeting teen girls, but instead they walked into a trap set by undercover agents. Authorities call it a major step in the fight against human trafficking. Meanwhile, a tragic dog attack in East Alabama claimed the life of 78-year-old Patricia Burt. She was mauled by her neighbors Cane Corsos and died from her injuries. Experts say early training is crucial for guardian breeds. The dogs were shot by Burt's husband. Meanwhile, in Georgia, Senator John Ossoff warns that proposed Medicaid cuts could threaten health care for children, pregnant women, and seniors in Georgia. With 18 rural hospitals at risk of closure, he says the cuts would be devastating. but his efforts to protect funding were blocked by Senate Republicans. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Wednesday morning. We are starting off with 40s again across the region under those clear skies, and get ready for another warm day. Temperatures already in the 70s by midday, with those highs reaching the upper 70s by this afternoon. And tonight, again, we're going to be staying cool with those lows dipping into the mid to upper 40s. And we're tracking a fast-moving front for your Thursday that'll bring in a chance for a few showers and a few rumbles of thunder, but overall, the extended forecast staying dry.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here's a great idea. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Yes, one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program and we'll come and remove your car for free. Fast, free towing, and 24-hour response. You can donate most cars, trucks, or SUVs in most conditions. The proceeds raised goes to help active military, veterans, and their families, and you get a tax deduction. All you need to do is make this free call. Get rid of that old car and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now and book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Donation Program now. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Operators are standing by. Here's the number.
800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. That's 800-890-7021.
This hour of the SportsVisions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services.
The Finley firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Catch the Paul Feinbaum Show, 3 to 7 on SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. Here's three-time Georgia Bulldog SEC champion and 1980 national champion DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Coach Levi Dunn. I tell you what, Jolie Dunn's baby boy, man. I tell you, all of us old timers, we know Jolie Dunn is a legendary coach in the SEC, man. Defensive was his specialty. He was defensive coordinator. But this young man he has a bright future. I'm glad to see him get his first job. And
me too.
We're going to keep up with it.
No doubt about it. And I would not be surprised if one day he made his way back here in the Columbus area.
All right. Without further ado, I tell you what, man, I'm excited that we have with us our sheriff here in Muscogee County. Coach Greg Countryman is with us, and pleased to be with us. And Sheriff, welcome to the SportsVisions Morning Show. How are you?
Pretty good. Good morning.
Good morning, man. I was telling everybody a couple of days ago that I had an opportunity on Saturday to go down and be a part of a program that Reverend Flakes was. Matter of fact, Reverend Flakes was in the studios with us just the other day, and I had a chance to hear you speak, and I really was excited, and I was excited for the kids that they got an opportunity to hear from the sheriff here in our town. And as you begin to explain yourself and talk a little bit about your background and everything, I was so excited because I know that not only they heard for the first time that a guy that is a sheriff in that position was just like them. And because some people come from humble beginnings, but what you end up being at the end of the day is such an inspiration. So for the SportsVisions Nation, I'd like you to just start by introducing yourself and sharing where you went to school, where you grew up, some of the things that you went through coming along before you got to this position.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sheriff Greg Countryman. I was born in Plains, Georgia. Family moved here in 1966. My father was stationed at Fort Benning. During that time, I was educated in the Muscogee County School District. It started for me in Alpine Apartments and Willis Plaza. Went to Casita Road Elementary School, Southern Junior High School. Proud 1984 graduate of Baker High School. And, I've had my challenges in life. I grew up, I had problems reading. I had a really bad stuttering problem. I graduated high school in the special ed program, had problems reading, writing. When I did enter college, I had to take remedial classes. But one thing early on that I know was the central part of my life is me having a praying mother, and me being introduced to Christ early in life. And so with that really helped me along the way. And that's why when I do meet kids, when I taught on a collegiate level, I always tried to pour knowledge into them to let them know that you may look different, you may be different, you may talk different, but we're all God's children. And what I've learned in life is that when you acknowledge God, that God will make every path straight for you. And so as sheriff, and that's what I've always tried to do, even as marshal, 16 years as sheriff, I've always tried to pour into people. As marshal, we had a junior marshal program. We mentored over 2,000 kids since this inception. We had a 100% success rate, with that program, and we deal with every constituency that we can deal with, from the autistic community, Down syndrome community. We are the first agency in the nation to have a Down syndrome vehicle that is dedicated solely to that. And so I like to say that I'm everybody's sheriff, and I meant that. I don't care what color you are, what choices you make in life, religion, or any of that. I'm everybody's sheriff, and so that's something that I take great pride in.
Man, that is awesome. I've had the pleasure of interviewing you before. I know your son, Sheriff, but I didn't even know any of that. And it's really powerful, the fact that you've been able to overcome all of it, didn't let it define you, and now you're giving back. Where did the giving back come from? The servant part. They always wanted to help out the community. Did it come from your parents? It's something that came on later in life. Where did that aspect come?
That's how I was raised. I can recall as a young child that I would always give. And my mother used to always tell me that, you have such a giving heart. She used to say that you are free-hearted because when I had something, I would always share it. If I had candy, I would always give it to my brother and sister. But if they had candy, they would never give me anything. And I would always go back to, my mom, and, I would always cry in her arms. But mine started at an early age, and my children are the same way, that we are a very giving family. And so at the end of the day, that we all have a dash that we have to fulfill. And for me, it's about the kingdom of God, that I know better, which means that I should do better. And this is a ministry to me. And so, everything that I do when I wake up in the morning, before I even get to work, you go to my social media page. I've already sent out devotionals for in the morning, but that's my covenant to God. And I've been doing that for a long, long time. And so, I want to live a Christ-centered life. And so at the end of my journey, I really want the Lord to be pleased with everything that he's tasked me to do, everything that he's given me to speak, everything to put my hands to. We are a very giving agency as well. So it's just who I am.
Sheriff Greg Countryman is our guest today on the SportsVisions morning show. Sheriff, another intriguing part of what your presentation the other day was that you were able to share with us your responsibilities as the sheriff. You also when you walked the kids into the prison, or at least into the jail, and talked about the number of the men and the responsibilities there. Why don't you do that for the Sports Visions Nation as well?
Sure. The responsibility of the sheriff, every county has to have a sheriff. The office of sheriff is a constitutional office. That there are only 4 constitutional offices in every county. That's going to be your sheriff, your clerk of superior court, your probate court judge, and your tax commissioner. Sheriff is independent of city government. The position of sheriff is not beholden to a county government. I don't answer to the mayor, city manager, or anyone. I answer to 2 people, basically. I answer to the citizens of Muscogee County and Governor Brian Kemp. And so, but I'm responsible for, and sheriff is mentioned over 600 times in state law and state legislation. And so the responsibilities and the duties of a sheriff is great. It's huge. I run the largest clinic in Columbus, Georgia. I run the largest restaurant in Columbus, Georgia. Our jail feeds over 1.2 million meals every single day. I run the largest mental health facility within 120 miles. I'm responsible for over 700 plus registered sex offenders. I'm responsible for 1,140 inmates this morning. And so I'm responsible for the courts. I'm the chief law enforcement officer for the county. I'm the keeper of the peace for the county, and I'm also the chief jailer. And so the sheriff is the highest ranking law enforcement official in the county. And so there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. I've taken on things that I don't get paid for. We are taking on also hiring deputies to patrol the parks. So, as you know, many years ago, we got rid of the city got rid of the park rangers. Now we're bringing back deputy sheriffs to go into the parks to promote safer parks and safe families. And so I hope that I covered what you wanted. But the position of sheriff is not anything, that you should not take lightly, that you should take lightly.
No doubt about it. And with all that responsibility, the most important thing is community relations, understanding the people that you are serving for. And I feel like that's first and foremost at the job. So how important is that? And what are the steps and ways that you make sure that the sheriff's department and the community are all on one page and making sure everyone feels safe and great here in Columbus?
Well, what we've done is that we've done a pretty good job. In marketing. That one thing that I've learned about marketing, which is part of my background, that you have to have a brand, and we have promoted our brand. When you see MCSO, you see it over and over and over again. And what I believe is that in order to have a good outreach, that you have to have a good inreach. And so that means that in order to understand the community, that you have to know the pulse of the community. And so we go out into the community every single day. We go into schools every single day. We have a gaming trailer that we go into the community every single day, that my deputies have to go out and talk to 3 individuals per day and put those names on their daily reports. And so we get feedback on what's important to the community. The good thing about being sheriff is that if the community has a concern, that I can be that voice for them.
Right.
When the community said that we had a gang problem and a crime problem, when I took office, I tackled that head on. I tackled that. And you see the crime numbers going in a downward spiral. If you look at our social media page, you see probably about 40% of what we can show you, but the sheriff's office has made the largest drug arrest in any sheriff's office of any agency in the history of Muscogee County. Last year alone, I just looked at the number. We seized over $305 million.
Wow.
In drugs alone, and we will have our annual report to go out Well, let me just say that's over 4 years. That's over a 4-year span.
Gotcha.
In my first 4 years. In one takedown, we did $279 million last year. We had the largest meth bust in Muscogee County. We had the largest fentanyl bust in Muscogee County. At the end of the day, that when we do our jobs, that we make our community safe. When our community is safe, that our citizens, they feel really, really good about the job that we do. I'm a public servant. We have a cafe here. I go to Sam's and I buy the food. I sometimes come down. Yesterday, before I got off work, I was down in the kitchen prepping food. I believe that service should always come from the top, because when I do that, it's nothing to see me vacuuming the floors up here. But I do that because when I ask my staff to do something, I would never ask them to do something that I shouldn't, couldn't, and had not done. And so that's why we get such great response when we go out in the community. We have every bureau to come out and work with us when we deal with the kids in the community. This year, we are starting something new that is called a drive-by. It's not like the drive-by shootings, but what we're going to do, we have a food truck, we have a gaming trailer, we have music. We are going to go out into the underserved communities and go out into those neighborhoods, even if it's for 2 hours, and give them free hot dogs, hamburgers, if they have questions or whatever.
Awesome.
We want to show the community that we're everybody's sheriff's office, because there are so many parts of our community that is underserved. We have young men and young women in our community that are hoping, but they're losing hope. And because when they see law enforcement, it's because somebody has called and there's something bad happening. We're also getting ready to form what's called SAL, which is the Sheriff's Athletic League. And so I want to get with Tony Adams, because Tony Adams was a huge part of this community. Yes. And so we would not have a lot of things that we have if we did not have a Tony Adams. Tony Adams played a critical role in our kids. And I want to go back and pick the minds of people like Tony Adams, because we have a totally different constituency now as far as younger people. And so at one while we were able to, sort of keep ties on them, to keep hands on them, because we were able to have things like midnight basketball. They had outings for the young men that did not have fathers. They had a father figure. They always had a father figure around. Those things are absent now. And so it's hard for me to be sheriff, to be everything that goes with this job, but to try to help the community in so many ways, because I'm being pulled in every which direction. But that's what the Lord put me here for.
Sheriff Greg Countryman is with us as our guest here on the SportsVisions Morning Show. Sheriff, thank you so much for being here. And I like the fact that, you're able to explain a lot of what people just never understood or never had the opportunity to hear. And this SportsVisions Nation is this platform is just for that. But let's talk about something that's near and dear to both of our hearts, and that's the youth here in this community. I know, specifically we're talking student athletes, but we're talking all kids.
Right.
They have more today than anything as far as distractions, social media. You hear all of this, and you hear about the drug, you hear about the gangs, and you hear about all of that. But I want to ask you, and from where you sit, and from the chair that you sit in, as you look out into our community, what is it that makes kids today, successful kids? It doesn't have to be, just bad kids, because we don't know what that looks like now. It doesn't have a face. We hear about star football players. We hear about cheerleaders and homecoming queens making the bad decision. I mean, what is it that you have been able to see that causes this problem?
Opportunity and distractions. Opportunities will make a good cop a bad cop. Opportunity will make a good kid a bad kid. And so that we have to stop and look at where we are, and we have to not let our kids get so distracted, because, even in the home place, if you sit at the table, you can't have a family conversation because the kids are on the phone. And then sometimes if you go in a restaurant, you don't even see families talking. You see everybody on their phone.
Right.
And so that's a distraction, because what has happened is that our value system has deteriorated. That we have started to allow other things to, take up family time. It used to be a time to where families would eat at the table together, and now kids will go up in their room and eat. Parents may go in a separate room, and so family is out of the picture. And so a lot of that, it goes back to family values. And a lot of this is that one part is putting something on another. That is that I get it all the time that people will fuss at law enforcement, folks about their children. They fuss at teachers about their children, but everything starts in the home place. And what I tell parents, because if you ask me a question, I try to be honest, but I'm going to be straight, no chaser.
Yeah.
You can't hold me to a standard that you're not willing to hold your own self to. And so a lot of people will, drop problems at your feet. That's their problem, but then they want you to fix it for them. And so what you have to do is push that problem back on them. We have to bring families back together, because if a father is absent from the child, the mother should not tear down the father and then talk bad about the father. It's about the child. It's about creating an environment where that child can be successful, where that child can learn. You heard me talk about at 4th Street that I give this speech that's called From the Bedroom to the Classroom.
Yeah.
That there is a trauma that kids will face in the bedroom from the time they leave to the things they see in the house, on the way to school, and on the way in the classroom. And they can't focus because of the distraction that they have seen. And so we don't understand the psyche that goes behind that. And we don't understand that certain poverty levels in our community, that poverty helps to manifest into mental health issues. We don't understand how mental health affects our community. If you take a template, and if you lay a template down of individuals with acute mental health, mild mental health, and severe mental health, and then you take another template and you lay down where crime has happened in our city, and you lay those templates down, they're going to almost mimic each other. And so we have a lot in our community that we don't want to deal with. We don't even want to deal with mental health issues. Mental health is such a large component of why kids do things wrong. A lot of kids should be on medication, but they don't like the way that the medication make them feel. So when they come off of the medication, and if they're using drugs or drinking, all those things will heighten that mental health piece of it. And so if you push them, or if you walk on their shoes, and then they have those sporadic responses that they cannot control. And so some of the violence comes from that, but mental health plays a huge part of that.
I think that's a great answer. And we were just talking with someone else earlier in the week about Dr. Flakes, when we had him on, Reverend Johnny Flakes, about how, if you want to reach kids, and I'm younger than both of you guys, but I listen to you. I grew up in an age where I want advice from people that have more experience than me. Kids nowadays don't care about that. So it's really hard reaching them, but they do have people in their household that they look up to, family members. And I feel like that's who we need to go out and reach to be able to help us reach the youth. And so I think you're making the great point. It starts with the moms, the dads, the older brothers, the uncles that have influence on these kids to be able to help push the message, because we can talk to her blue in the face. It may not resonate with them. It comes from home. That's a whole different story. And is that what y'all are trying to do? Get into the households with the parents and the older siblings and the mentors to help our youth?
Yes. We're going to have to partner with, have to partner with our community, with the clergy community, with the mental health community, with the military community, because there is such a broad pool that we can pull from.
Right.
And we have to do things without cameras being there. Is that one person said that once character is who you are when no one's watching.
Right.
That we don't always need a camera to highlight what we do. The Bible says that, you should not have to blow a trumpet to let the people know that you're coming. In other words, just come as you are.
Right.
Because if you're mission driven and mission oriented, none of that even matters. What matters is how many people's lives can you touch? We have young college students that are interning in our agency, and we allow them to see the best of what we can give them here.
Awesome.
And they have uncles and aunts here. We have kids that want to drop out of college to come full time to work here, and their parents will tell them, no, you are going to finish school. We have inmates that clean our building, and we treat them like human beings, and they come up and say, look, when I get out of jail, can I come and work for you? Those are the impacts that we make. We're getting ready to feature and highlight in our 2024 annual report, because we've done so much. And I don't like to boast, but I don't mind boasting in the things that God has done for us. That we had a work release program to where we had an inmate that worked at McDonald's, and he was trying to build a family. He never thought he would be able to own a home, never thought he would be able to be back with his kids. When he was a trustee, he worked so hard, and he was so appreciative for that chance and to be in a structured environment with oversight, that when he was a trustee, he was counting money. When he got out of jail, he moved up with the company, and this has only been about 2 years. He's a maintenance supervisor. He's making well into $100,000+. He has custody of his kids. I was able to do a letter for him on his character for him to get full custody of his children. These are the impact, and it goes back to the story of the Good Samaritan. That a lot of us walk by on the other side. When we know better, we don't do better. The Bible says that when we know right and do wrong, that we sin. And so we are put here on this earth to play a role in everybody's lives, because at some point in that, that we're going to have to all give a account for what we did, but we're going to have to also give a account for what we did not do. And so everybody plays a role. I mean, you look at DJ Jones, he plays such a vital role in this city and county and all over the state. No matter where you go, you will see him rubbing elbows with people that people would dream of seeing. But that does not change him, but he still plays a pivotal role. You see him out in the community. He was there at 4th Street. The kids need to see those kinds of things, because kids can only be what they see.
Great point. Great point.
Excellent.
Sheriff, when you talk or when you hear people in the community, when they say, I want to help, but I'm scared of those kids. I don't know. I can't trust them. I don't know. I mean, what do you say when you hear that kind of stuff?
Well, if you are scared, you may need to take a different road, because, you can't be scared, because God did not give us a spirit of fear. We have to trust God and pray over things that we want to do, because everybody may not have the capacity to do certain things. They might can help out in a totally different way. And so if you are scared to go out in the community, then support it in other ways that you can do things. You can give knowledge, to those who are not afraid to go into the community. If you are afraid to go into the community, then go in groups, go in groups. And the community will welcome individuals into the community who wants to help. Some guys may laugh at it. Some guys may point a finger. They may, mock you or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's about the life that we live. And we have to be selective in who we choose to try to help, because you can't help everybody.
No.
I've learned that you can't help everybody. And so for those that you can help them.
You hear rallies, you hear meetings, you hear organizations, and again, the people that obviously truly want to help. For you, how do you make that decision on who do you join, or what forces, or what group, or what organization that you lend your talents and your gifts to? I'm very particular. If I have something that I know that is working, I would rather someone else go and work with another group.
because one thing that I've learned in life that, is that you will know when God assigns someone to you. That everybody comes to you is not assigned to you. And so you have to really discern those things. You have to pray over those things. You can't be quick to say yes to people because they want to help. Sometimes people want to help because they want to be associated with a larger agency that can sort of heighten them. And so you have to use discernment for that. And what we're doing is working. We're able to reach so many people, yearly, that we have made an impact in the lives of so many individuals.
Can you talk about your relationship and how important it is with other law enforcement? You may other city officials. I mean, y'all have to be all working together. If you're working against each other, I feel like that is opening up for more avenues of crime or whatever else. So how important is that relationship?
That is critically important for every agency to work together. But we have to understand too, and also for elected officials to work with other people within government. That part is critically important, but at the same time, we still have to recognize everybody's role. And that's why in the military, you have different branches. You have the Army, you have Air Force, you have the Marine, the, Navy, Coast Guard. Everybody, when it's wartime, it's time to fight the war, and everybody has a distinct function. But aside from that, everybody still has a distinct function. When it's time to come together, they come together for the good of the country. They come together to preserve our freedom. And the agencies, we still have different roles. And you can have two leaders at the same time. The police chief and I, we meet on a regular basis. We believe in keeping an open relationship. Are we going to always see things the same way? Absolutely not. But at the same time, it should never impede in the way that we fight crime, the way that we work together. And that's something that I have always extended is a olive branch. Some people don't always want to take the olive branch, but it's always extended. And I think that what all of our agencies are doing right now, that is making a huge impact. Because we partner with state agencies, we partner with federal agencies. We have federal agencies and state agencies that are housed in our admin building. Right now, we are probably one of few agencies in the whole United States that have that. We have the AG's office that is housed with us that prosecute gangs. We have GBI that is housed with us, and so that's one thing that we totally believe in is collaboration.
Well, Sheriff, I certainly appreciate you coming on and, of course, informing the SportsVisions Nation. And again, I hope this is not the last time, because I see that. Periodically when things come up, and again, you're on my speed dial, and I want to be able to call you and let you talk to the folks, because again, we don't know all things in the universe.
No.
And certainly a lot of folks know a lot more about you now than they did before.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and what you're capable of doing. Well, so thank you so much, and we appreciate you.
Praise God. Take care.
All right.
Thanks, Sheriff.
That's great. Sheriff Greg Countryman. I want to keep calling him Coach. Man,
He's coaching. Yeah, he's coaching a lot of people, and that guy is very well spoken. Always says great for the community. And you heard all the programs and everything that he. I will tell you, that guy is everywhere, always giving back, always doing what is necessary. Not all politicians, not all guys that are in that power, in that seat, want to get their hands dirty. He's one of them.
Thrift, we had some people that actually engaged on social media. Why don't you share
I wish
that?
I know, and I wish I would have shouted them out before we let them go. But Ricky Rogers says, good morning, SportsVisions. Thank you. Candy Lowe says, good morning. Jennifer Barringer, good morning, Mom. Also, Corey Black, congrats, Levi. He was a Viking for 2 months. Also, very proud of him. And then Adam Denson said, keep standing strong and being committed to reducing crime. Sheriff Countryman. And then he also said Luke Curtis A. Simpson, because Curtis Simpson is now running Parks and Rec. And maybe they can get together and have another Midnight League. It would be really good for the city. And I do agree with you on that sentiment, Adam. Thank you all again for commenting.
All right, let's go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we have an opportunity to talk to Carver Tigers head coach Eric Pembroke Allen. You're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC. HD2 Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown heroes, hometown sports guys. Boy,
we can be heroes too.
Yeah, that too.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
Make plans now to be a part of the 16th Annual Alzheimer's Association Dancing Stars of Columbus, Thursday night, February 27th at the Columbus Convention and Trade Center. Showtime, 7:30.
It's time to maximize your savings with a Ford Truck Month sales event at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. Whether you're conquering tough jobs every day of the week or heading off-road on your next great adventure, score great offers now on built tough trucks. Like an all-new 2024 Ford F-150 with available 3.9% APR financing for 60 months for well-qualified buyers, plus $3,350 in total incentives with available best-in-class 13,500 pounds maximum towing, Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving, and seating for up to 6. Tough this smart can only be called an F-150. Get ready to unlock the power of the Ford F-150, America's best-selling truck for more than 4 decades. Take advantage of this offer and more during Ford Truck Month at Rivertown Ford, in person or online at rivertownford.com. And remember, you'll never pay retail at Rivertown Ford. Offer expires March 3rd, 2025. See dealer for complete details.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere. From dust mites, pet dander, and pollen to smog and smoke, an asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Your home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Sheriff Greg Countryman. I certainly enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too, man. Very informative interview. If you missed that one or any of the other great interviews, go to Sports Visions on Facebook and YouTube, and also Apple and Spotify. Couldn't hold that
Bless you,
sneeze. I was
bless you.
trying to get it all in before I sneezed right there, D.
Hey, hey, it's gonna be a showdown. Hey, hey.
Can't
you,
wait.
You ain't heard that. You ain't
No,
old
I hadn't
school.
heard that song,
Man,
but I
let me
know
tell
what
you
you're
something.
talking
Carver
about.
and Spencer going at it tonight, man. Again, to see who's gonna advance to the next level. I tell you what, I'm proud to introduce this next young man. Again, he's the coach at Carver High School, and he was also a damn good basketball player at Carver High School. I want to give it up for Coach Eric Pembroke Allen. What's up, Coach?
What's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Big game tonight, man. I know that you got your game face on, so I'm not going to hold you long. I just want to, I want the folks out there to get an understanding and realize that, you have accomplished so much in such a short period of time. Man, you won a state championship, back in 2022. Now you are in a situation where, again, this is a crossroad where you played Spencer, 3 times. This is the 4th time that you got to play them this season, and this is a big game, and you guys are focused and ready to go.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to my team, man. These guys, they done worked hard for me for the last 3 years. And our goal is always, any program I coach in, our goal is always to build a state championship team. And state championships is not won in one season. It's won over a course of years. I was blessed to be at Spencer for 5.5 years. And
wow.
We built the state championship caliber program over there, and they still good. That senior class they got, that's basically the senior class that I brought in, and they good, man. Big shout out to Spencer. I'm glad that they here, and it should be a war tonight.
No doubt, Coach, and we're excited about it. But I'd say this all the time: what you've done at Spencer, you talk about turning that program into a championship caliber program, to Coach taking over Carver 3 years ago. As an alumni, as a guy that you played on that court, I know this is, you won one at Spencer, which is awesome, but I feel like this one's going to be even more special, man. And the fact that you went 6-24 just 2 years ago and already have them as a #1 ranked team, who do you give credit to helping you build this program over at Carver, and how excited are you for the opportunity to bring one home to your alma mater?
At Carver, man, like, it's easy to win at Carver just because you go get the best athletes. People be talking about recruiting, like, you don't have to recruit when you're at Carver. Like, serious, like, people always say, Carver just good because everybody come there, this and this, that. Okay, if that's what you want to say, that's what you want to say. But Carver has always had the best athletes in football, basketball, track. I mean, we got great baseball players. Ace Thomas, he a baseball player. TJ Woodson, he a baseball player. So it's a mixture. It's a mixture of good talent and good coaching. Like, Nick Saban go get the best talent. So what you know,
right?
And he the best coach to ever do it. But I hear all the buzz, and like I'm just blessed, man. Like I'm just blessed, dog. It's God. It ain't me. It's God work. You know what I mean? So just being able to go to Spencer and build a program, and being able to come to Carver and build a program, man, we just blessed, and we trying to win it. Like, our goal is not to beat Spencer tonight. Our goal remains the same: win the state championship.
Good answer.
They just happen to be the next team in the way. So,
Coach Allen, let me take you back a little bit, because again, you have you've done a tremendous job. But I want to talk about, I want you to shine a light on some of the influences in your life, some of the people that poured into you. Because again, you didn't just wake up one morning and decide that you want to coach up, because you were a talented player. So take us back and walk us through that part of your life.
Man, just being a kid, I grew up right down the street from Carver in East Carver Heights, Boxwood area. And big shout out to my grandma, man. She passed years ago, but she the one who got me started in sports.
Wow.
She worked Parks and Recreation at a Haygood Rec Center, and that's why I grew up in the BTW area, playing basketball around there. And like, I knew I was gonna be a coach at 5 years old, because I knew everything about basketball. Like, I always played. When I was 5, I played 10U. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
People was laughing, but I was out there playing hard. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. But I was just out there playing hard. And just my grandma, man, she's the first person who really put a basketball and a football in my hand. And she never pushed me at it, but she always told me, you go be good. You go be good. Just keep trying. Because she didn't know nothing about basketball like that, but she just knew, that I had the talent. And another big shout out to Tony Adams. He's my god dad, man. A lot of people don't know what he did for me. He basically took care of me. He took care of me in every aspect. Like, he taught me the game of basketball. He taught me the game of football. I was actually a better football player than basketball, but when I got to Carver, it was kind of divided with football and basketball. Like, if you was a real basketball player, coach didn't want you to play football. You know what I mean? But I was probably the best football player around here. But big shout out to Tony Adams. Also, big shout out to Coach Mahone. He was my basketball coach at Carver, and he built so much discipline in me to where I became a man at 14 years old. I thought I knew everything. I thought I should be playing varsity and starting as a freshman. But, that didn't what he wanted to do. He didn't want to do that. So, me and him, we bumped heads for about 2 years. And once I became a junior, I figured out, look, I got to listen to my coach. So I started listening to him, and I became one of the best players in the state of Georgia, in the region. And it's crazy because I never made all region.
Really?
I never made all region. I never made all state. I never made all by city. But I had the numbers that the people who made those things, I had the same numbers.
Wow.
Like, I was averaging 16.9 a game, about 7 assists a game, and about 8 steals. And I never had those numbers. And I mean, it hurt me, to see my peers, they making all by city and all state, and they making all these awards, and I never made it. Like, people don't know that. Like, from my freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior year, I never made an all region, or all state, or all by city. So it just pushed me. And it pushed me to become the best player that I was. So I ended up, a lot of people don't know this, I ended up having 2 Division I scholarships coming out of high school.
Okay.
But I didn't have the grades. My grades, they were average, you know what I mean? So I ended up going junior college. But those are the 2 male figures who basically pushed me to become the best I could be. Coach Mahone, big shout out to him. I just talked to him about 2 days ago, man. He congratulated me, gave me some pointers on what we need to do to win the state championship. And Tony Adams, those are my guys.
Coach Allen, you coach hard and you love hard, and I can tell, folks that see you that don't understand you, and they can see you, that you get down and you show you're in your kids' faces, man. But those kids play hard for you, and there's a mutual respect there. And you couldn't coach that hard if those kids didn't know you cared about them. I mean, it's just simple. If people don't understand, it's that you're not yelling and you're not screaming and you're not demeaning, but you're coaching, and you're coaching in your way. And those kids respond in a way that it's nothing but love.
Well, it's a passion. A lot of people don't like it, and I'm okay with it. But it's my passion. It's God work. And I'm not fussing and screaming at them. What I'm doing is teaching them, but I'm teaching them in a way to where I can get everything out of them. It's just like a mom or dad coming home and they child ain't clean their room up. I'm sure they doing the same thing I do at the house, but it's just a lot of people at the game, so they see it and they judging me and they doing this, but I don't buy into that, man. I buy into what God has gave me, this gift that God has gave me, and I'm trying to get these kids ready for college. Because DJ, you played at the college level at Georgia. I'm sure them coaches were all on you and in your face, and you went to the league, and I'm sure
you damn right. Yeah.
So like Jalen Sellers, he called me about 3 days ago, and he was like, Coach, these coaches up here, man, they soft. They ain't, they ain't nothing how you was. I was already ready for this, man. And he was just like, man, whatever I can do for your kids, just let me know, Coach. And I'm like, man, look, you ain't gotta do nothing for my kids. I'm glad that I help inspire you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's not about the money. I don't make no money coaching this. You know what I mean? It's about my passion and, you know, my kids. I got 4 kids and I'm on them the same way, you know. And it's just my passion. Like, I'm going to be in your face. I'm going to tell you this is what I require. I require you to play hard-nosed defense. And if you don't do it, I'm going to get on to you about it. That's simple.
No doubt, Coach. And I don't care what people say. They can be jealous and say all the things that you're talking about, but winning is what follows you. So they can't argue about winning. And that's the main key. And you're about to win your second state championship at 2 different schools, which I don't know if anyone's ever done that around here. I'm not going to say that we do. Maybe we'll get some research if that's able to happen. But you made mention about Jalen, Tyson, all the great players that you send on to the next level. I feel like you're even more proud of that than the state championship. Yeah, the winning's awesome, but you got guys playing D1 basketball, and that is credit to you and how you develop these kids. Is that one of your passions too?
Man, the biggest thing for me as a coach is to help these young kids make it in life, whether they go to college to play basketball, football, whether they go to the Army to be a sergeant, whether they go to be a police, whatever they want to be. I just want to be a big inspire for those kids. I want them to call me, 2 or 3 years from now and just say, Coach, hey, I appreciate you getting on me for that. I don't need no money. You know what I mean? Jalen will call me all the time, man. What can I do for Asia, India? Nothing. You know what I mean? Just shoot her a text and tell her, hey, this is how you go D1. You know what I mean? Like it's not about the money for me, man. I got a job. I'm a man. I know how to raise myself. But those kids like Tyson, Jalen, Jaquez, Hope, them kids, they committed to me. Like when I got them out of 8th grade, they looked me in my eye as men, and they just committed to everything that I was telling them. It's tough. It's tough to play for me. Like, you got to be thick-skinned. You got to be a young man or a young woman to be able to play for me. Like, I coach my daughter. I coach her in AAU. She's a 7th grader, and
killing, by the way.
Like, it's kind of hard for me to, yell and get on her, because at the end of the day, she's still my daughter. But she has the understanding, hey, he my coach. Like, she don't call me dad. She don't say nothing. You know what I mean? She just play. And it's a blessing to have the baby to coach your kid. Like, she my favorite player. You know what I mean? Her, my other daughter, and my sons, they're my favorite players. And to be able to coach them and inspire them and, just help them out, it's a blessing, man. Like, I'm just blessed, dog. Like, I'm just blessed, man.
Absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to Asia Allen, who hit 26 points in the city championship in Fort's victory over Aaron Cone. And I tell you, man, I didn't know, I hadn't seen, that was my first time seeing her play, but is she in the 7th grade?
Yeah, she in the 7th.
And she already, you coach, keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. We're on now, of course, with Eric Pembroke Allen, the coach at Carver. And of course, I'm going to talk a little bit about your team, because again, everybody knows about, how great you guys have been this year, been blowing people out and so on and so forth. But and Tony Montgomery, one of the top players in the state, one of the top players in this part of the United States, 20 points average, 6 assists, 3 steals a game. But I tell you what, I saw you play Burke County the other day, and I saw Tobias Tolbert basically dominate in the paint with the blocks. He's averaging 5 blocks a game, man. And people don't realize how big of a component that is to your team and their success, having those rim protectors. He and Givens, man. I mean, it ought to be against the law.
A couple years ago when I had Tyson, TJ, and Big Drake, that was the reason that we won a state championship.
Yeah.
I told Tristan Givens, Tobias Tolbert, I told them when they were freshmen. And we also had Josh Selden, who's actually at Spencer now. I told all 3 of them, I said, in order for us to win the state championship, it's going to have to be done through y'all 3. And I still mean that. Tony Montgomery is the best player in this state of Georgia. It's no question.
Yeah.
But you can't find Tobias Tolberts.
No.
Can't find them. A lot of people don't understand when he Like we played Spencer a couple weeks ago in the region championship. And they dropped the lead down to like 9. We was up maybe 22. They dropped the lead down to 9. Nobody know why that lead dropped. If you go back and look at the film, it dropped because Tobias Tolbert got hurt.
There we go.
You know what I mean? He had a high ankle sprain. He played maybe 3 minutes with a high ankle sprain, and he just out there, and he wasn't helpful. And my coaches, we was getting on to him, but he was trying to, still play because he wanted to help his team win.
Right.
And when I figured out he was hurt, that was the difference of the game. Like we're not gonna win without Tobias. It's that simple. You know what I mean? The things that he do. You talking about 5 blocks a game. So I know we done played in the game and he done had 12 blocks.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like the stuff that he do, man, you can't coach it. You know what I mean? I told his dad probably about him and his dad. I told his dad probably about his freshman year. I said, look, Tobias Tolbert is gonna be the best player on this team one day. And he was looking at me crazy. And I was like, he need to stop playing football. You know what I mean? And I said, the reason why I'm telling you that is because he is going to be a Division I basketball player. And Coach Coffey and I, we talked about it. Like me and him, we are great together when it comes to, hey, this kid don't need to play basketball because, his big ticket go be football. This kid don't need to play football because his big ticket go be basketball.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, we are great with stuff like that. And Tobias Tolbert, like, his dad didn't believe it. But now he understands, that kid different, man. And, like, with Tristan, like, I'm praying he play basketball next year. But, man, all this NIL money.
Yeah.
this man gonna be a 5-star. He a 4-star. But, whatever they decide to do in their life, that's, I'm supporting it. But, again, Tobias Tolbert, man, he different. And I'm gonna just give a big shout out to a couple of other people on my team who affect the game. TJ Woodson, freshman. What he did against Burke County, a lot of people didn't see that. That kid had 12 points.
Yeah.
6 steals, in crucial moments. Kobe Castle, 10 points, 6 steals. Ace Thomas, 3 points. But he guarded one of the best players in the state of Georgia, and he harassed him the entire game. Like, we got a team to where everybody know they role. You know what I mean? Cody Truesdale, another little point guard, he came in the game, and, he played extremely well.
Yeah.
We just got a lot of guys who are committed to what we're trying to do. And like I said, man, I'm blessed. Like, blessed to have the opportunity to be able to play for a state championship, hopefully in 2 games.
Yeah, and I remember seeing Tobias in the fall league 2 years ago and saw the potential, but he was just green. And now he's a grown man playing with boys out there. It's just, again, credit to him and his hard work, but also you and your staff helping develop this guy into what he's become. But you made mention about all these names, and every time I'm calling these games, I always make mention a lot of these guys could be starting anywhere else, but they want to be under Coach Allen. They want to be at Carver. They want to know what it takes to get to the highest level. How awesome is it to have a team that buys into their role? You don't have any toxic atmosphere going on, and everyone knows what it takes to win. I know that's got to be great for you as a coach.
I mean, I'm gonna be extremely honest with you. It's great, but it's hard coaching these guys. A lot of people don't understand, man, these mindsets and these egos. You got to get these guys to understand this is what I need you to do.
Right.
Because think about it. Tony Montgomery, he was at Spencer with me, and he led us in scoring at Spencer as a freshman. And he's over there at Carver now. He's still our best scorer and our best player, but can I get Tony Montgomery to buy into defense? You understand what I'm saying? Is he going to play defense the right way?
Right.
Okay, I get you a score, but are you going to play defense? Then you got Kobe Castle. He was the best player coming out of middle school. You know what I mean? Then you come back and you got Ace Thomas and Cody Truesdale. They was the best players coming out of middle school.
Right.
Then you got TJ Woodson. He was the best player coming out of middle school. Now you got 20 points per game from 5 different players on one team.
Yeah.
So now you got to sit down. You got to talk to their mom and daddy. You got to sit down. You got to talk to them.
Yeah.
Then you got to sit down and you got to talk to the entire team. And it's something that you have to buy into. And if you don't buy into it, it ain't gonna work. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I always meet with all my parents at the beginning of the year. And that's the last time I'm gonna talk to them. I'm not gonna talk to them no more during the rest of the year. And I'm gonna meet with my team and I'm gonna talk to my team every day. But I'm gonna explain to you, hey, he ain't gonna score 20 points per game. It just ain't gonna happen.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
He may have 20 points in one game. He may have 20 in 3 or 4 games, but he's not gonna score 20 points per game. What I need you to do is trust me with your son. And if you trust me with your son, we're gonna win state championships and we're gonna go to the next level to play college basketball. It's no question that Tobias Tolbert is going to play college basketball. It's no question that Tristan Gibbons is going to play college football. It was no question that Tony Montgomery was going to play college basketball. Kobe Castle, he go play college football. TJ Woodson, he can go play college football, college soccer, college baseball,
right?
Whatever he want to play.
Right.
It's no question. Ace Thomas, he can go play college football, college basketball, college baseball, whatever they want to do. But those kids have committed to playing hard-nosed defense for me, and they have committed to sharing the basketball with each other. We understand Tony Montgomery is our man, but we also understand we need the rest of them to win basketball games.
Absolutely. Coach, we're up against the clock, but I can't let you get out of here without talking about your staff. You got more coaches on your staff than some colleges coaches, man. And I see that, but I want you to take time to introduce who those guys are and what they're responsible for in your program.
Man, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to be quick with it because I know you got to go. I keep a lot of coaches, man, because when you coaching at a school like Carver, these kids going to need you. You know what I mean?
Right.
You need to ride to practice. You know what I mean? We got to help feed these kids sometimes.
Right.
And it's a village. You know what I mean?
Right.
So with my coaching staff, okay, I'm the head guy. My top head assistant is a guy named Jamal Brinkley. He brings so much to the table, man. He actually came with me at Spencer the year that we won it. He wasn't on that staff, but he came at the end of the year. And when I told him I was going to Carver, man, he stuck with me. But he's a great guy, and he also coaches football. Anthony Saints, he's been with me ever since I've been to Spencer. Great coach. Tito Hope, another great coach. That's Terry White, stepson.
Okay.
Real good coach. Then you got Ray Buford. Him and Tito, they basically are our player development coaches. So that stuff that's going on with Tobias Tolbert, thank those guys, man. They do a great job. Like with our player development, we do it for 30 minutes every day. Every day we 30 minutes of player development. You get one-on-one time with Coach Tito and Coach Ray. Jason Mayo, he's our strength and conditioning coach. That's kind of the heavy set coach.
Yeah.
And he don't play with him. He do a great job with him as well. Then you got Scoop McCullough, who came from Richards.
Yes.
He's our freshman coach, and he's also really good behind the scenes with film. Like he's my film guy.
Okay.
So he's go watch that film. He go call me, hey coach, this is what they do. So it's a collective bargaining, man. I'm blessed to have these guys coaching. And look, some of these guys that I'm talking about, I'm trying to keep them in my program, but if these crazy people out here, if they know better, they better come hire them. Because these guys are really good.
Well, Coach Allen, man, we certainly enjoyed the last few minutes we had with you, man. And again, we wish you the best of luck, man. We'll be rooting you on. Of course, I'll be there, and I know you'll be there too.
We're going to be broadcasting, Coach. You know it's going to be a lot of fun in a packed gymnasium tonight at 6:30.
Yes, sir. We'll see y'all then.
All right, Coach. Take care, buddy.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. That's Coach Eric Pembroke Allen.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he made mention about his staff. And it does take, it's hard to hold one coach to do it all, man. You need guys that want to invest, that are willing to give back. And that's awesome. He has that.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. You are watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2. SportsVisions 92.1.
You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. 11 men are under arrest after a law enforcement sting in Opelika targeted online child sex predators. Investigators say the suspects thought they were meeting teen girls, but instead they walked into a trap set by undercover agents. Authorities call it a major step in the fight against human trafficking. Meanwhile, a tragic dog attack in East Alabama claimed the life of 78-year-old Patricia Burt. She was mauled by her neighbor's Cane Corsos and died from her injuries. Experts say early training is crucial for guardian breeds. The dogs were shot by Burt's husband. Meanwhile, in Georgia, Senator John Ossoff warns that proposed Medicaid cuts could threaten health care for children, pregnant women, and seniors in Georgia. With 18 rural hospitals at risk of closure, he says the cuts would be devastating. But his efforts to protect funding were blocked by Senate Republicans. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Wednesday morning. We are starting off with 40s again across the region under those clear skies, and get ready for another warm day. Temperatures already in the 70s by midday, with those highs reaching the upper 70s by this afternoon. And tonight, again, we're going to be staying cool with those lows dipping into the mid to upper 40s. And we're tracking a fast-moving front for your Thursday that'll bring in a chance for a few showers and a few rumbles of thunder, but overall, the extended forecast staying dry.
Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Hi, I'm two-time Olympian Cliff Meidel. Striking a power or gas line can result in serious injury. It happened to me. In 1986, while working on a construction site, I struck a high-voltage cable while using a jackhammer and nearly lost my life. Today, accidents like mine can be avoided by simply contacting Georgia 811 before you dig. Everyone, including homeowners and contractors, must visit Georgia811.com or simply call 811. Georgia 811 can save your life. Call 811 before you dig.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Your home for Falcons football. SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to the SportsVisions morning show. Here's Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions morning show. Man, we're down to the last half hour of the show, Thrift, and the time has flown by. We've been having a tremendous time today.
Unbelievable time, unbelievable interviews, a lot of fun, but saved the best for last, didn't we, DJ?
Absolutely, but I got to give a shout out to Coach Eric Allen, who we just interviewed. Man, that was probably one of the best interviews that I've seen, and I'm not just saying that because we did it. It's just the fact that he was comfortable and he was able to. We went in a lot of different directions, and that's what you can do on the SportsVisions morning show. You don't have 2-3 minutes to for a coach to get it all in. He could take his time and ask several questions and go in a direction, and and definitely credit any and all his players, his staff, his upbringing. All of those things are a big deal. Also, Sheriff Greg Countryman, man, I so much really appreciated the fact that he came on and we got a chance to introduce him to the SportsVisions Nation. Obviously, he does a tremendous job with, leading our sheriff department. And he and I both have something in common, and that's the kids in this community that we care so dearly about. And he was able to express that. Coach Levi Dunn, congratulations to him taking on a new job up at Heritage High School. And again, man, I'll tell you what, Levi Dunn,
unbelievable.
Is it in his DNA or what?
It's in his DNA, man. It's from his dad to Jay Sparks to Joe Sparks, his uncle. I mean, and then his mom, longtime coach. Coaching was in his blood. There was no doubt he was going to coach, but we're proud of him from this area doing great things at Heritage.
And our main man, of course, Richard Holdridge. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to a guy that not only is the heart and soul of Columbus High School, but he, after his playing career with the LA Dodgers, he coached 25 years, gaining a valuable perspective of the game, and he worked with the Dodgers, Giants, Phillies, White Sox, and the Braves, finding the joy in watching players grow and achieve success. And, of course, he just happened to be a damn good hitting instructor at that. Please welcome my friend, Gary Ingram. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, DJ and Thrift. Man, it's always a pleasure speaking with you guys early in the morning. I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, I apologize right now because I did not say how great a fisherman you were in that introduction. But, I saved that separately because you're representing with the Cove. You're representing that shirt. I understand that. I'm going to let you get your plug in right off the bat.
Let's go, man.
Look, I got a YouTube fishing channel, Cove Ultimate Fishing, where I go out and just have fun catching crappie. And I know I'm supposed to get Thrift and DJ a bag of those nice fillets, and I will put them in the mail within the next couple weeks, just so you guys can have lunch on me. But yeah, if you're an avid fisherman and just like to watch somebody catch some crappie, check me out on Cove Ultimate Fishing on my YouTube channel as well.
Good deal, man. I'll get you well-rounded. You got it going on. We love you, man. We thank you for being such a great contributor to the Sports Visions morning show. It's spring training. We are right slap dead. We're a week and a half in, man. And so catch us up. Give us an idea of what is actually going on. Pitchers and catchers reported almost 10 days ago or so. And then the position players, from what I understand with the Braves, they came in even earlier than expected. So where and what is the goal right now as we are in a week and a half into spring training?
Well, the main goal is for organizations to get their pitching ready for the season. That's why the pitchers and catchers always report a few weeks before the pitchers and catchers report a few weeks before the position players get in. But like you said, a lot of position players, they try to get there at the same time because they want to be running on all cylinders as well. They don't have to, but when you're dealing with trying to chase a World Series trophy and you want to mesh in with the guys, they all get there earlier than expected now. And what's happening right now is the pitching is number one. Okay, they're going to be throwing live BP sessions to hitters while they get ready for these games, and I'm sure the games are starting. But hey, it's go time now, DJ. All the workout for the off season is done. All the mental preparation is done. Now it's time for players to get in spring training, show the coaching staff what they can do, because at the end of the day, they will have to make cuts in spring training. Send guys down on the minor league side. But hey, I've been checking out some teams, man. It's going to be an interesting season. But baseball is in the air, like you said. The smell of that grass getting cut, them guys lining the fields up, and it's all about the pitching right now. And the hitting always catch up later.
Gary, right off the bat, now Thrift and I was talking earlier about spring training and reporting to camp, and again down in Florida or out in Arizona. But give us an understanding of how many players come to the major league camp and how the minor league players trickle in and how are they separated. Talk to us, break that down for us.
Well, the major league, like I said, the big league camp reports during February the 10th. Position players come a week after that. There will be all the main roster guys there, plus they're going to be non-roster invitees, which are players outside the organization that they want to take a look at. They got an opportunity to make the team either as a bench player or as a bullpen guy. So they're going to bring in a plethora of guys to take a look at. Now, remember, there are only 25 men on that major league roster. So the staff is going to really dissect who they can add to what they already have set in place. Okay, that's how it's going to work on the major league side. As far as the minor league side, those guys usually report, I think, around March the 1st. It do be some minor league players that they call them the extra guys for spring training, because they'll let those minor league players play in the early games of spring training because the big leaguers are still kind of getting prepped. So they'll have those kids. There might be 25 kids, and most of those kids are kind of like prospect style kids. They'll have them over there playing in those early in those games, because most of the major league players, when they start those games, they're only going to play 2 innings. So they'll use those extra minor league guys to finish those games out. And as the major league players mount up their innings to 2, 4, or 5, that's when they'll trickle those guys back over to the minor league side. And now the minor league players, man, you could have 150 minor league guys come in at once for only 82 spots. Wow. So, and they only have about 3 weeks maybe of games to try to make a club. that's how that's how fast it works on the minor league side. But it's all about competition, and that's why we always tell minor league players, be ready to play in a game day when you get there. Okay, so that way you won't say that you didn't give yourself a full opportunity to make a club.
You never want to be in given an opportunity and not be prepared. That is going to be the worst situation, because then those are sleepless nights. Trust me, I've had those, and maybe not the highest level like you and DJ, but when you get the opportunity, the last thing you want to do is not take advantage of it, because you may never get another opportunity again to prove what you can do. But as coaches in the minor league system, are y'all involved? How involved you are with spring training? Do they have all the minor league coaches there? Like, how does that work in terms of what's y'all's responsibility as minor league coaches during spring training?
Well, like you said, Thrift, we got to get them guys ready for the season. We have meetings every morning. We have meetings after games to discuss the rosters, to discuss how the players are performing. The coaches are an integral part of making sure they put together teams for the affiliates for a championship season in the minor leagues. Of course, there will be ups and downs. There will be players that have to come in the office to get that bad news of, hey, we don't have a spot for you. We're going to have to release you today, which that's tough on the coaching staff and the coaches. And sometimes you'll have players that had a great spring training and still don't make a club, because you got to remember, there are also on the minor league side players that are already ticketed to be on a minor league team somewhere. So it could be maybe 2 or 3 spots available on each club, and the coaching staff responsibility is to get them guys ready as quick as we can, get them evaluated as quick as we can, and be able to set the roster at a certain time, because that last week of spring, that's when they want the full roster for that minor league affiliate to play those games, so they can go straight on the plane to get to their location.
Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer Gary Ingram and former Los Angeles Dodger baseball player. Gary, we had the pleasure of talking to the vice president of Major League Baseball operations of the Colorado Rockies last week, Paul Egan's, and he was talking about, the housing and how some of the things that he's responsible for, getting hotels and contacting agents and making all these arrangements, logistical arrangements. But describe, or at least explain to the folks out there, obviously, you have different situations for different people. The big leaguers, some guys, rent their own place, the big money guys, and some guys have to stay in a hotel. How does that quite work? Who gets to stay in their own home or rent their own place? Who does a team rent spaces for, or get hotel rooms for that matter?
Well, I'm gonna cover the spring training housing for you first. Spring training, all the minor league players are put up in a hotel. Okay.
Okay.
What they do is the AA and AAA players, they're in a different hotel, and the A ball players and the rookie ball players are in a different hotel. Okay. The major league side, them guys, like you said, they're making big money. Most of them have some nice rentals that they live in or whatever down there during spring training. And for the minor league guys, as we all know, the minor leagues is a different ball game, especially when it comes to the money they make, to the housing that they have to get. And when I played, hey man, it would be about 6 or 7 of us cramped up in a 2-bedroom apartment, making $800 a month each. So it was tougher for us back then. But I found out now that actually the organizations now find a complex and they pay for the entire housing for the summer for minor league players. Okay, so that has been a change that has been, I say that's great for the players, because they don't, number one, have to worry about finding an apartment, putting down deposits, and things of that nature. They already have it set up for them. Okay, so that's what I think the best situation that they came, and I'm sure Paul Egan's is one of the facilitators of that. That is a great thing for them to do for those players, because I remember, man, we used to live in what we call host families homes, where I know you heard of that term, where people in the community would extend and open their homes to minor league players. They might have an extra bedroom, extra basement, and that was huge, man. And those parents would provide the players with food for the road trip. They'll give them like we call goodie baskets. So I think that was a great thing too. But now they are housing minor league players in complexes, which makes this process a whole lot easier for them kids.
Gary, I had the pleasure of calling a historic game in our area. Two powerhouse baseball programs faced off for the first time in 50 years. They had never faced off against each other, and they're in like 5 minutes apart. And in that game, there were so many battles between pitcher and catcher that didn't even happen like as an actual play. It was just a mind game where the batter would call timeout right as the pitcher's getting ready to do his pitch. And then after he did it about the third time in the at-bat, you could see the frustration on the pitcher. And the next pitch is a pitch it's a little bit inside, maybe to like, hey, stop playing with me right now. And how does that go? And when you were at a bat, did you try to get in the pitcher's head with the last second timeout if you could get away with the umpire? And how's that going back and forth?
Gary, before you answer that question, Thrift, why is it such a secret that the teams, you said powerhouse, man, you got to tell them who they are.
Glenwood and Central. I forgot, Gary, you're from this area. So Glenwood and Central, and obviously these two schools, they're close in proximity, but because one played in a private school, it was not allowed. Not because the schools didn't want to play, it just was never allowed. Now that Glenwood made the move to public school, they got to face off. It was a ton of people there. It's honestly our most viewed game ever in a baseball game that we've ever done. But it was such a fun to see the baseball, the batter and the pitcher. Can you talk about that dynamic and that back and forth mental game that goes on between the pitcher and the hitter?
I'll tell you this from a hitter standpoint. We teach hitters in professional baseball and wherever, you own the batter's box. And the pitching coaches are telling the pitchers, you own the mound. That's where that competition starts, and it's all mental. I'm going to give you all an example. I know you know who Roger Clemens is.
Right.
He was one of the guys that if you took too long to get in the box or if you was doing things of that nature, you might as well start jogging the first because he's about to drill you. He gonna make that. He gonna let you know. Well, since you want to do that, I'll just put you on first, but you're gonna wear one.
Right.
But as far as that mind and mental game, Thrift. Listen, man. As we know, they do have a time clock now in the major leagues. We didn't have a time clock when I played, so we were able to step out, step in. Call timeout last minute. And that was a mind thing. We was doing that as hitters to mess with the pitcher, get him frustrated. Because pitchers like to get the ball and go. Now, since they got the clock rule and since they're trying to speed up games, they don't have a tolerance for that anymore. Now, we're talking about high school right now.
Right.
I would say that the hitter is trying to psych out the pitcher and the pitcher is trying to psych out the hitter. That's just the way it's going to be. Now, who controls that situation are the umpires. The umpires are the ones that be like, hey, let's go, let's speed it up. That's the person that really can keep that from happening. And I'm telling you right now, I think players in the high school and the minors are wound different than when I played. But you probably not gonna see guys getting drilled. But when a pitcher come inside on you, that's a message that he's sending to the hitter. Hey, buddy, that's just your warning. You take longer next time. It might be a little bit more inside, and you're gonna get your bag at first. So it's all about trying to intimidate the other in the batter's box on the mound, and that's part of the game, Thrift. So as long as the coaching staff don't let those things get out of control, everything will be fine.
If you're just joining us, we have former Major League Baseball player Gary Ingram and with us. Gary, I got to ask you this question, and obviously this is my last question. Thrift, I guess you can have one more, but. I asked this question to a former minor league player. Just yesterday. Buck Bellew was with us, the former quarterback at the University of Georgia, a member of the Montreal Expos minor league team. The bat, you're a hitting instructor, been coaching a long time. The bat, how important is it? The height, the length, the weight when picking out a bat, in a wooden bat? What's the most important thing that you teach to your athletes or to some of the former players that you had?
That's a great question, DJ. And I ran across this plenty of times with hitters. Some hitters like to use a really heavy bat. Some hitters like to use a really light bat, such as myself. I use a 33-inch bat, 30 ounces, which is light as a feather because I wanted to be able to have some whip through the zone. Now, this is what I tell hitters. I can tell if that bat is controlling you or if you're controlling that bat. I let them know you need to make sure you get a balanced bat that you can control. Because it's all about having an aggressive control swing. And, some guys think, well, if I got a heavier bat and I make contact, I might hit it farther. But the key right there is you got to make contact first.
Yes.
And if you can't get the barrel to the ball, that bat is useless. So my number one thing is making sure that you use it, but whatever length you like, whatever ounce you like, get the bat that you can control in that batter's box, because you might get somebody out there throwing 96 to 98, and you might get a guy that's throwing a little slower, but make sure you have control of your bat weight.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And when going about the shoes and everything else that goes inside, DJ talks about him being with Mizuno, making sure everybody is comfortable with their batting gloves. And I know that, are the guys superstitious in using new stuff? Do guys use stuff that's 20 years old? Do they still do that nowadays? I know baseball is more superstitious than any other sport, really. How do they go about that process? Do they wear the same socks every game? I mean, there's got to be some weird stuff goes on with the superstition thing.
Thrift, you must got a crystal ball over there, man, because you right on point, man. Because I'm telling you right now, it's some guys that are super duper superstitious. I'm gonna use myself. I had to play with 7 seeds in my mouth every game.
7 what?
7 sunflower seeds in my mouth every game.
Okay.
And I only spit one out every 2 innings. Nobody knew that until I was about to leave. It was like, why you always get excited? That was my superstitious. But as far as the equipment, man, I think Turk Wendell was a pitcher for the Cubs. I don't know if y'all remember him. He used to eat licorice after every inning he came in from pitching, and he pitched with no socks on in his cleats, which is crazy. But that was his superstition. But yeah, guys got different routines, different superstitions that they go by, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. If it's working while you're doing that stuff, they're gonna continue to do it. I don't care if it's wearing the jock strap on as some socks or something. I've seen some crazy stuff which I don't want to talk about too deep right now. But guys are superstitious and they are really finicky about their equipment. DJ, he's been with Mizuno. Hey man, when I see that Mizuno boxes come in my locker, it felt like Christmas every day. And nothing makes you feel better as a player when you got some new stuff to put on. Now, again, you might have some most comfortable batting gloves that are almost falling off your hands. Guys will use them until they can't use them anymore. So, and I used to say, hey guys, get you some new batting gloves. You got 10 boxes in your locker. Nah, these right here are working, so I'm gonna keep these. So baseball is a superstitious sport. I'm sure DJ and NFL, you got some guys that are superstitious as well. But hey, that's part of it, part of the camaraderie, and you just got to be able to laugh when you see stuff like that.
Absolutely. Last but not least, man, hey, congratulations. A couple of weeks ago, we had an opportunity to witness you, of course, being inducted into the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. Man, I tell you what, man, it was great catching up with you. I know that you had all your loved ones there with you, your old coaches and all that good stuff, man. But have your feet touched the ground yet?
Nope. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. Nope. Hey, I saw the interview that Tyler Redmond did on me, and
beautiful, great,
and the pictures. And look, man, I'm like I said, I would have never guessed this DJ 35 years ago that I would be standing in a podium, especially being in the Chattahoochee Valley Hall of Fame next to you and my guy Frank Thomas. Man, I got chills, and I was nervous. I was really nervous, but everybody, yourself. Everybody at Dave Platter, Gary Clegg, and Coach Howard was there. A lot of people that touched me instrumentally and or in person. That just made my year, man. And I am so honored just to be able to be on that stage with you guys in that Chattahoochee Valley Hall of Fame now. And I went down there after the ceremony to check it out. That was my first time. Yeah. And they really fixed it up and everything. They got the name outside. And I really feel honored and privileged to just be able to join you guys. And that I'm on cloud 13. You said I was on 9, but I'm on cloud 13 still.
Well, hey, man, look, you deserved it. But you know what? You might have been nervous, but your speech and all the speeches, well, that was the best part of the afternoon or the morning for me. You guys all had your own speech and did it in your own way. No stuttering. It wasn't over long, but it was just great. And I think that might have been one of the best Hall of Fame, Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fames that I've been to. Awesome. And with all the 5 speakers or 4 speakers that spoke on that morning, they all did well and they all inspired me.
Awesome, man.
Gary,
hey,
thank
look,
you so
DJ.
much. Yep.
No, you guys inspire me. I appreciate you guys.
Hey, man, we're just glad that we know you, man. Glad to be able to hang out with you and talk a little baseball.
Thanks, Gary.
Take care, man. All right. That's the Crappy Man. He is, of course, he loves the Crappy Man. You know what? I don't know why I should have asked him. Why do you eat catfish? Do you eat
crappy
brim?
And brim? I mean, come on.
Crappy
Bass.
every meal. I'm talking about he eat crappy for breakfast, lunch, dinner, with his cigar,
That's the Crappy
with
Man.
his beer, with his bourbon. I mean, goodness gracious, that Crappy. And his name is Chicken.
Yeah.
Get it? He a Crappy Man, but his name is Chicken.
Come on, man. Gary, what's going on, dude?
We love him, though. We love him.
What
absolutely.
a show today, DJ.
Oh my God! I tell you know what? We just keep doing it, and guess what? We coming back tomorrow morning with some more heat. And,
Exactly.
You know, it's amazing, man. We're so blessed to have this opportunity, man, to share this platform with the Sports Visions Nation, man. I tell you what, I ain't lying. When I say tell a friend to tell a friend, that's what you need to do. Share the good information, share it, because you get more than sports here. We heard from our Sheriff Muscogee County's Sheriff, Greg Countryman. I mean, he gave us some insight, and people who didn't know that this guy, he of course, he's a proud Baker High School graduate, and the man said he was in special ed and had a stuttering problem, but yet he's one of the most powerful men in our community. Hey, man, who does that?
No, exactly right, man. And it's really incredible. And we appreciate having him on and talking about everything that he has a hand in, where he's at, and understanding the role of a sheriff. I didn't know that he's the top dog.
He took us to school.
Yeah,
he took us to school.
Unbelievable. And if you missed that, go to Spotify and Apple immediately after the show, Sports Visions Morning Show. Click on that, subscribe, and you'll be able to click on their names. Also on Facebook and on YouTube right now. No excuse. You can't go back and watch the show. And Gary just texted me saying the Crappy Man with a laughing emoji. DJ comes up with the best names, man.
And I want to tell you, for you folks out there that usually see me dressed down in a tracksuit, and I got it's a special occasion.
He wanted to show me up today.
No. Cliff Rutledge, one of my longtime heroes and a pioneer of sports broadcasting here in the Chattahoochee Valley. His funeral is today. He passed away at 92 years old last Sunday.
Wow.
And his funeral is today at 11 o'clock at Nichols Chapel in Phoenix City. And I tell you what, Thrift, in the meantime, if you could just bear with me here, I want to make some mention of some of the great things.
And while you're looking for that, DJ, I want to say, make sure to tune in tonight, 6:30, Carver and Spencer. We're getting it on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. Also, if you got nothing else going on at Columbus State, the 3A classification of the GIAA, we'll have games on 3, 4:36, and 7:30. So a lot happening in the area. Make sure to go out and show support. And remember, tomorrow, Pacelli boys and girls and Central boys and girls play in the Final Four.
Yeah, and in continuation of Cliff Rutledge, I mentioned that we would definitely have his funeral today at 11 o'clock, but he was inducted into the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame himself in 2014.
Oh, wow.
His career began here in the Chattahoochee Valley in Columbus, Georgia in the 1950s, and these are some of the games that obviously these are some of the monumental sports broadcastings that he had. All but 3 of the Tuskegee Morehouse football games from the early 60s to 2012. The Fort Valley Wildcats and Albany State Rams, better known as the Fountain City Classic. He did that in Columbus for 24 years. He also broadcasted the 4th round basketball game between Carver and Albany High School back in the day, championship football games of Carver and Shaw, and of course the Georgia Dome as we know it now as Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and a championship between Spencer High School and Lucilaney back in the 60s. So you're talking about a pioneer. We land him to rest today, and I would I'm going to be right there in the house. I'm sure that the church won't be able to hold all the people that whose lives he's touched. Thrift.
No.
Because he was, in addition to being a great sports broadcaster, he was known for a great gospel show, and he was an educator. He was an administrator as well, a very educated man who was just beloved. And I tell you what, he's going on home to glory, and we appreciate all that he left behind and with his wonderful contributions.
Yeah, and again, I've never got the pleasure of meeting him, but for guys like you and many others that have said nice words about him, I know he meant a lot to this community.
Absolutely. I tell you what, man, I can't get over enough of thanking Gary Ingram, Eric Allen from Carver High School, Greg Countryman, the sheriff, and Coach Levi Dunn, of course, who's coaching at Heritage now as the new football coach, and our main man, Richard Holdridge.
Big Rich.
Well, you hear the music, you know what that means. That's going to do it for this edition of the Sports Visions Morning Show. On behalf of Thrift Barringer, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah. I know I gave you all you needing. I know what you like.
You've been listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. This is Sports Visions 92.1.